happy that I'm able to be back. I went out to the beaches of Michoacan. My friend actually, yeah, I'm back at the same Airbnb I was before. Hey, hey. And my stuff is downstairs, and I'm in the middle of checkout at the same time before I go and meet a chiropractor. So here we go. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about humility and some of the lessons that I learned. I went to this really, my friend lives in this remote villages above the beaches in Michoacan. And when I met there, I always felt so happy to have a community like that. And do you guys remember when I gave you the word that said, you have to heal whatever anger there is because God's about to fill our hearts this year through the speed that's happening, that our hearts are not going to be able to take it? Well, that's what's about to happen. I went there and I was so wonderful, so beautiful, so blissful, so peaceful, so good when I got to that place. There are all these bunches of beaches, and their whole family was living within the same community, which was amazing. And I just had the best time. I was just so happy to be there. It was just in the middle of the mountains, right next to the beach, and here was a ranch, and there was mangoes falling from the trees. There was papayas everywhere, and I ended up losing my phone, so that's another thing. But this is just, and so it was just really nice to be in a community that was just all inclusive, safe, and everybody was so welcoming. I had to end up like I wanted to stay there, but because I lost my phone, we ended up going to some places to surf, which if you have my Instagram, same name, Unapologetically Marina K, you could be able to kind of follow that. That was the last point. That was actually the point that actually had Wi-Fi, and I was like, let me go live real quick. So I just see how much blessings I can have. I think on the outside, people, they call themselves poor. They're like, somos pobres, pero I don't really see how that was poor. I always felt that a community like that was one of the richest. You stop by somebody's house and they will happily feed you. You're not really worried about them gossiping too much, like where they have nothing to do. I mean, they're all still quite busy doing things that they still have to do. And it was just nice to have that community where everybody helps everybody. You don't have a car, your neighbor has the car, they'll drive you to the bus stop. And it was really nice to experience that parental, the unit of a family. Now, this is an experience I had in Chicagua, which is in Oaxaca. I try not to talk about it that much, but it's gaining popularity, and like anybody who serves is going to go there. They're going to know about it. So it was just really nice to have that experience. And the word that I received was God is changing things. God is going to bless our families as well. And so this space that we need to heal in the humility is so powerful. Now, I was just kind of like having a one-on-one with God, just like I talk to you guys. I talk to God, and I need to record my thoughts. I'll talk to God that way inside of a voice recorder. Try it. Sometimes you don't have a pen, sometimes you're traveling, sometimes you're at work, sometimes you just need to get into the bathroom and just speak. And this is a great way because Holy Spirit is always around. And sometimes just to formulate so many thoughts, because it gets clogged up in there. It's like for me eating a bunch of food and needing to like take a dump out or something like that. But you know, it gets clogged up, so we want to sit down and talk and say, God, like, you know, if this is what's up, like you told us certain things. So what I loved about this, in addition to that, was children were children. They were just playing. They didn't really have attitudes, or they were just so happy in a community, and that was the first thing that struck me. And so the second was how everybody lived together, and how they all they had very good values. So that hit me a lot, and it was kind of difficult because I had to tell them I was fasting. I didn't want to, but I would wake up every day and they would literally say, okay, here is your breakfast, here is your lunch. And it's kind of rude if you don't. So I had to say, actually, I'm not going to eat until 3 o'clock today, or I'm not eating today, or etc. So that was interesting for me, but it was, I usually don't like to say it, but I'll tell people, especially when they invite. In Latin culture, it's kind of like, okay, why is she not eating? She thinks our food is gross. So in that, the humility of even just humbling ourselves to ask God for things, I found myself really happy to be around humble people while I was humbling myself. When I lost my phone, I didn't exactly feel humble. I was straight up in the flesh, like tripping. My bank information is on my stuff, and if I needed to make a phone call, that's on my phone. So also my WhatsApp, the person who I wanted to rent my house from, and the person who was supposed to help me, that was on my WhatsApp. So it kind of became just like a little bit of a problem because contacts. But I just remembered, it was just so nice to be in remote beaches where there's not a lot of tourists. Maybe there's a cluster of like 20 or 30 surfers, back how Oaxaca used to be. It was amazing. It was so amazing. So it was so nice to come across these groups and be there, and the things that are happening and moving and shaking is so powerful. So with that said, I love you guys. Continue to stay humble. Try to get around as many people with humility as possible. Iron sharpens iron, and corrupts good character, as it says in the book of Proverbs. So good company will help enhance character. So it was really nice to have that, and stay humble. If you feel the need to fast, sometimes I wasn't able to blast in tongues because I'm playing with with a few kids at the same time, and there's dogs, and it was just really nice to be around goats and horses and chickens, and I just love that. So that's it. I lost my phone, but I'm back on. And yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to try to add as much as I can. I had to come back to this Airbnb to get like a little bit of rest because, I needed it. It was amazing, but having a lost phone and having to work like a lot was a bit much. So okay, well, I wish you guys the best. I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you on the next